After taming the Lions in the White House, the undefeated nationally ranked Iowa Hawkeyes take on Arkansas State this Saturday. This is Incompetent Sports Talk. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Incompetent Sports Talk along with Mike Rabon and Jordan Loperena. I'm Alex Solsma, and what a game that was in Happy Valley. Iowa beats Penn State 21-10, and the defense and special teams, the big story, that defense last 2 years now versus Penn State. In the fourth quarter, we have outscored Penn State 26-0. So, let's talk Iowa-Penn State. Jordan, to start with you. What are your thoughts on the Hawkeyes' domination, or at least 3/4 of domination at Penn State?
I think there were two key moments in the first half that actually, despite the fact we were down 10-5 and still very much in question of winning the game, I think the fact that Penn State put together a 10-plus minute drive and only got a field goal out of it in the first quarter after, obviously, that big play, I think that was big. And I also think the fact, I think it was 124 to -6, we out-yarded them in the second quarter to just kind of really throw their offense off of any hopes of getting into a rhythm. They came out in the third quarter not quite sure because they really had only one big play in the first half, and that was their very first play. From that point forward, they just kind of had to nickel and dime it. I think they might have had one long pass to Moy, and that might have been in the third quarter. And so I think those were two crucial aspects of putting us into the situation. And then what can you say? Adrian Claiborne, I was pretty excited. My picks to click actually were our linebackers on defense, and they could not have played a better game as a unit. Our defense really as a unit, -1 play, could not have played any better. Claiborne with the blocked punt, and then just the front four, who Todd McShay actually said did not have the athleticism to keep up with Penn State.
He was wrong.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But
Todd McShay should stick to looking at
high school
recruits,
high school athletes. But anyways, no, I just thought that the way our defense played as a unit and the way our offense really never threw away the game. They didn't have an absolutely terrible fumble like Stanzi did in the third quarter last year against Penn State. You remember that fumble he had that led to their last touchdown. We didn't have that this time around, even though he turned the ball over twice. Winning the turnover battle was huge, 5-2, I believe it was.
That's right, Mike.
I'll tell you what, sitting in that Nittany Lions student section and winning the game was probably one of the best feelings I may have in my entire life. But to the substance, Ryan Donahue pinning the Nittany Lions inside the 5 was when the game really started to change. They had a false start penalty that backed them up even further. And then, of course, we see Broderick Benz almost get Royster in the end zone, and then eventually Benz just blowing up Pennell on the offensive line and knocking the ball out of Gerald Clark's hands, and we get the safety. And that's when the game really started to change. So, again, we have to give Ryan Donahue his credit where credit's due, making quality punts and allowing us to stay in the game with field position. Stanzi's number is 11 for 26, 135 yards, 2 interceptions. Doesn't look great on paper, but he managed the game very well. So I was very happy. He didn't have a mistake that was truly his fault. His passes were thrown were his receiver's fault, in my opinion. So I was very happy with how he did. Adam Robinson's my player of the game on the offensive side. He was our second leading receiver, 46 yards on 3 receptions, and he rushed for over 80 yards, and he had that great touchdown run to basically seal the game from the offensive perspective. And then, of course, as you said, on defense, Adrian Claiborne and Broderick Benz were phenomenal, just destroying that Penn State and exposing that Penn State offensive line all game. So all in all, very happy with the Hawks, but again, it boils down to that Norm Parker defense and the special teams really coming through and setting up and facilitating our offense's ability to punch it in the end zone and win the game.
And 10-5 at halftime. I will never count an Iowa team out. That when it's close at halftime, we always make good adjustments. And I don't know how good I was feeling after the first quarter, but going into halftime, even though we hadn't scored a touchdown, having it be that close, I was really confident. And Pat Anger too. We got to mention him. 14 tackles, a forced fumble, and an interception. And boy, he had wheels after he picked off that ball. I mean, what a great game from him too. What were you going to say, Jordan?
I was just going to say huge win for Jeremiah Hunter, who grew up in Pennsylvania, has a cousin on the Nittany Lions, and chose to come to play at Iowa. You like to see moves like that pay off. You see Pennsylvania athletes notice that a Pennsylvania athlete has 2 years in a row now been part of a stout Iowa defense that has shut down a quarterback like Darryl Clark and shut down an offense like Penn State's Spread HD. And you might, with a Pennsylvania coach, on the sidelines, you never know what could go on over there. But, I think our linebackers overall, A.J. Eads with a very smart slide into home after he picked that ball off too. I thought they were all outstanding, Anger and Hunter as well.
And I might have underestimated Iowa a little bit. I only picked them to win by 10, and they won by 11. So just a great game from Iowa. And now finally getting a little bit of respect from the nation. But, of course, we're going to have to earn a lot more as we go throughout the season. We're 4-0, but still got 8 games to go. Hopefully 9 games to go because bowl game. But, okay, let's talk about what else happened last week. Lots of upsets last week. South Carolina beat number 4 Ole Miss. Cal was destroyed by number 6 Oregon. That was surprising. Nice pick on that one, Jordan. You picked Oregon, but would you have picked them to win by that much?
No, I didn't think they were going to win by that much. Cal definitely overrated.
Speaking of I told you so, Virginia Tech and Miami. Virginia Tech dominated Miami, and everybody's hopping on that bandwagon, drinking that Kool-Aid, and I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. No respect for Virginia Tech. And finally, they had a big win. Now they're jumping up to number 6 in the country, even with a loss, so that's huge for them. What was the most surprising thing about this weekend? Mike, I'll start with you.
Well, besides obviously Iowa beating Penn State, I think Virginia Tech beating Miami as well as they did. I mean, Cal, obviously I picked Cal to win the game, and Oregon winning as big as they did is surprising, but Cal is consistently known for collapsing in Pac-10 play in big games. So Miami, after beating 2 ranked opponents, going into Blacksburg and getting beat 31-7 was remarkable. Tyrod Taylor, again, is proving me wrong. I've been criticizing him all year. He's been able to lead the team, engineer that team to victory. Their loss to Alabama is not looking bad because Alabama is playing remarkable football this year as well. So Ja'Cory Harris just couldn't get the job done, and Frank Beamer out-coached Randy Shannon clearly in Blacksburg.
Jordan.
I think going with Mike, Cal I don't think has won a big game since Aaron Rodgers led them past USC. And that was in the early part of this decade. And besides that, Iowa beating Penn State, obviously. I'm going to go with Mike, though. Virginia Tech coming out the way they did. They had not really taken it to an opponent yet this year. Even with Nebraska, they had to come back and win. They ended up, not being able to take Alabama all the way down to the wire. Lost by 10 to an outstanding Alabama team now, which we've realized. I think the way Virginia Tech just stepped up to the plate and took care of business.
It will be interesting, though, this weekend to see how Miami handles Oklahoma as they come in